Thank you for staying tuned to Nile TV International, dear viewers. We're following up the latest regarding the humanitarian catastrophe in Gaza and events related to the Just Palestinian cause. And with us now live over the phone is Professor of International Relations, Dr. Ahmed Mostafa. Dr. Mostafa, thank you for joining us.
Oh, not at all. This is my duty, Mr. Mohammed.
Dr. Mostafa, hundreds of UN staff at the Office of the High Commissioner for Human Rights have asked him to explicitly describe the Gaza war as an unfolding genocide. And we also heard from the United Nations describing the situation in Gaza as famine. So now we have the biggest international organization in the world talking about genocide, talking about famine. When will this barbaric attack on the innocent civilians in occupied Palestine, in Gaza in specific, end? When and how? What are the conditions? Egypt and Qatar did try to do their best to reach a ceasefire. They proposed to Hamas the conditions that Israel had previously agreed upon, the Witkoff proposal, and after Hamas accepted it, now Israel is rejecting what it previously accepted and says it wants to occupy Gaza.
Okay, let me talk about, what Netanyahu said concerning his whims about, the greater Israel. This is number one. If such, terminology didn't take, the Arab leaders and the governments from their, dormant, sleep, I think they have a problem in the, perception of things like that. Because, as we know, he started to talk about the greater, Israel that we know since we were children, that is starting from, Furat until the Nile River, passed by Saudi Arabia, Jordan, Lebanon, and the others. Isn't, such word shake or shaken, the leadership of the Arab countries or the Islamic countries? That is a big question that they should ask themselves. This is why I found that maybe the Prince or the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia already invited Mr. Sisi just to come and discuss such issue, because it's a dangerous issue. Also, we have to turn to the domestic situation in Palestine itself, because since a year, the Chinese, they tried to put an end for this, tradition between the two big factions in Palestine, or the occupied Palestine, Fatah and Hamas. However, Fatah has its own way, and by the beginning of the crisis, since the 7th of October, it was against Hamas itself, and against, the rights of the Palestinians, unfortunately. And now they are regretting over the spilled milk. One of the main issues which represent at least 50% of the matter, the right reconciliation between Fatah and Hamas in this crisis, at least just to surmount, the problem of, the Palestinians, because every day there were a lot of violations and killing and genocide always also taking place for the people of the West Bank. And we witness that every day. Not only that, more settlements are being, established, and no one, and Abbas cannot, discuss such issues. And Abbas just focusing on being like the president most of the time, nothing else, disregarding all what's taking place. Also, it was really surprisingly to find, that some of the Arab countries already with, handing the weapons and the arms of the resistance, whether in Lebanon, in Palestine, in Iraq, or things like that. And it is really great craziness, because Egypt and the other countries, which are like the neighbor countries of Palestine, will be aggrieved from such issues. Also, we are missing, as we said before, and when I was in a studio with you before, the collective action amid the Islamic and the Arab world. This is a very important issue. And I don't know, and I have to ask the Arab League, why you don't issue a resolution to fight with Israel and to dismiss all the attachés or the commercial advisors or things like that from your countries who belong to Israel. I think if they do this action, I think Israel will, reconsider such matters. Because now, and please, frankly speaking, Israel in one of its weakest status ever, despite, yes, they are attacking every day, but they are attacking just to cover the domestic problems like, the trauma, the psychological trauma for the army members, the daily stands against Netanyahu, and now they have two, factions inside Israel. One just to stop and ceasefire currently, and the other concerning ceasefire and restoring the hostages from Hamas. And also, the economic situation is very bad. No tourism, no technology. They are just trying to reestablish the, the strategic places that demolished by the Iranian retaliation and things like that. Therefore, I think it's a great opportunity for them. And if they want really to confiscate or just to occupy Gaza, I think the people of Qassam are ready. And if you remember the last week, they had like a big operation where at least they said in the Israeli media only 5 soldiers and officers killed, but I think, in my view, at least 20, because it was like a battalion over there.
Yeah. So I deduct from your words, Dr. Mostafa, that you are saying, just like United Nations officials said about aid trickling into Gaza, which has improved recently slightly, but the UN described this improvement as nowhere near enough. So you are saying that the collective Arab stance is nowhere near enough and the efforts are nowhere near enough to confront the Israeli aggressions. Did I get you correctly?
Yes. Yeah, if you review the press conference of Barak in Beirut 2 days before, and the insulting he addressed to the Arab, journalists in Lebanon, and I don't know how come the Lebanese not retaliated, despite I know that they are like Egyptians, they are hot-blooded, people, but it was harsh enough, and this offense of this insulting, I think it is not only to the Lebanese media, but maybe it's all the Arab, because he was talking about the Arab, they are like animalistic or some, downward words like this, and he should be retaliated, in my view. The United Nations trying to do something, and I followed the Security Council yesterday when 14 members saying it's a genocide and famine. However, the United States said no, it was enough aid. However, Hamas just trying to delay and trying to devastate all such efforts. And
just as you mentioned,
the realities.
Yeah, 14. Just as you mentioned, 14 out of UN Security Council members said the situation was a famine. It was a bit strange.
Famine and genocide, they were divided.
And genocide and famine as well. But it was strange to see the U.S., whose president, Mr. Trump, had said, you can't fake that about starvation, but still, oppose the description of the situation in Gaza as a famine. Anyway, so since we mentioned Mr. Trump, I wanted to ask you, what, Mr. Mostafa, did you make of the Trump-Kushner-Blair meeting yesterday? And is this an attempt to revive? Does anyone know what exactly that meeting was about? And is there still an attempt to revive the so-called Riviera proposal. And yeah, that's the question.
Yeah, this is, you know, this Greater Israel, it is not a new project, frankly speaking, because it was settled about 20 years ago, and the Zionist club, which called IPAC in America, were just encouraging such a project because, you know, they found that the Arabs, they're still dormant, and they are not ready just to retaliate, and they are not at least just trying to threaten Israel. Except, you know, the Egyptian Qatari initiative and the Egyptian stance against, you know, the American, you know, trials, because 3 times the Egyptian administration is saying yes, and it is the only Arab countries that's saying yes, comparing to the other Arab countries that they want to be the decision makers, that they are like a very submissive and very passive towards America and Israel. I think the main issue, it was the economics and the economics project that already declared via Barak in Lebanon concerning having like commercial or like trade, you know, areas between Lebanon and Israel and Syria and Israel and Riviera in Gaza and the other countries and so on. And also, these projects will never be made without the displacement of the Gazans. Egypt, of course, refused, and Egypt and Qatar already still adhered to their initiative, according to some congruence with Hamas and conformity with Hamas stance, which is good enough. However, it could be made theoretically, and the Americans and the Israelis, or the Anglo-Saxons, not just the Americans, should you know that even Germany and America and Britain, they are and Austria, they are supporting Israel.
Okay. One final question, Dr. Mostafa. Where are we heading when it comes to Gaza? Are we heading to an end of the war and a Gaza reconstruction, or are we heading to the Riviera and the forced displacement of Palestinians?
I don't think this Riviera will take place, because it is just a political issue. The Qassam, they are waiting, you know, the occupiers, once Netanyahu trying to occupy. As I said to you several times before, the fait accompli is imposing, or it is the main controller of the game, or having the main cause of the game. Who will sustain, according to the Arab, you know, poem, and who will scream first? This is the question, frankly speaking.
Okay. Thank you very much, Dr. Ahmed Mostafa, as always, for your time and your insight. Dr. Mostafa is a professor of international relations. And thank you, dear viewers, for watching our special coverage here on ILTV International of the latest situation regarding the humanitarian catastrophe in Gaza and events related to the just Palestinian cause. And stay tuned for more coming up shortly here on Nile TV. Don't go away.